Okay, everybody's got a fucking podcast. I mean, we have a podcast, so obviously anyone can do it.
Wait, this is a podcast?
Are you recording right now?
Technical difficulties.
No, you don't have to say anything. I'm going to edit it out.
Technical difficulties.
Okay.
I put mayonnaise on a pickle.
Yo, I know y'all ain't playing skee ball. I'm trying to go to bed.
Do my feet? I mean, my feet stink, right?
Yeah. Go.
Table feels low today. No, it's all good. It was fine where it was. I was just had to get my legs under it and such. And
Where you
no,
want?
that's good. No, hold on. No, there we go. Nope, that's good.
Want to go upside down?
I think we sit it on its side. Like
Side?
Height, like long ways.
Sure, for sure.
And then we could just kind of like...
Let me get some super glue. We'll super glue the mic stand to the table.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
How are we going to do the chairs?
Who needs chairs?
Oh.
We'll squat.
We'll squat.
Yeah.
Sounds exhausting.
Or we'll just bend over, talking to the mic every time we want to say something.
Yeah, it just looks like a bunch of bowing back and forth.
Yeah. And I think that Luke's a bitch. Alright. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Charles, the order, or your ranking of this trilogy would be what?
Like the order that I like them in most?
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, because I think...
This trilogy wasn't, like, super great, so it's kind of hard.
I feel like the movies... They were still Star Wars, you know?
Yeah. They still had Star Wars things in them.
There was some... Yeah.
I would say it'd probably be Force Awakens would be, like, the better of the three, and then Rise of Skywalker, and then Last Jedi. Because
So basically in the order that came out. That sounds right to me because...
Last Jedi was
in what I
after
remember.
Force Awakens.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the order. You
No,
said
I
Force
said
Awakens.
Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker, Last Jedi.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, because I like the Force Awakens better just
Yeah.
because like that was like they brought back like Han and Chewie
Yeah.
and whatnot. So and Leia was in it. That was good. So it was the Last Jedi was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it still had Star Wars things in it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just like
I can't speak too much of Rise of Skywalker because I watched it the once and I remember it being long,
it was kind of long. Yeah.
and also this movie was long. I don't remember the length, the runtime, but
They were all like
I know it was a
2 hours
while.
and some change, wasn't it?
Yeah, Force Awakens didn't feel so long for some reason.
I
To
feel like
me,
it was a little
but-
bit more action, like constantly.
Yeah,
You know, wasn't as many like slow spots.
sure. Yeah, there's a lot of slow in this one. I don't know. I'll probably. I don't know. I'm kind of like dreading watching Rise of Skywalker again because I just remember being long, and I remember like, just like, oh, Palpatine's around. Word.
Word.
Like that doesn't make much sense, and then it's like, oh, but it does. And it's like, okay, take your word for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you gotta like kind of dive into like the lower part of it because like there were some Sith that were like pretty intense. Like there was some dude that was just like,
I mean, because it makes sense because he was like, oh, I can help you get Padme back from the dead or
yeah, like
whatever the
transcending
fuck.
death and whatnot.
But then, I don't know. I guess he got lazy
He got lazy.
because he was like, what am I going to do? Track her down?
Yeah, I gotta go find this bitch.
And then, cut to Kenobi series and he's tracking down Obi-Wan, but like, whatever.
That's a lot of splitting of his time.
Yeah. I got tracked down Obi-Wan and Padme? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know. My brother and I went and saw this one on Christmas Eve of whatever the year was. 17? I think 17,
Something
18.
like that.
Yeah, I think Disney Plus had 17. Anyway. It's Christmas Eve. My mom has this tradition where she gets us like pajamas for Christmas Eve.
The matching ones.
Yeah. So I convinced Luke. Luke's a little sick that night.
Oh yeah, I love this story.
And he's like, I'm not. I don't think I want to go. I'm like, come on, man. We always go see something on Christmas or Christmas Eve. You know, like one of the two. Excuse me. And like Star Wars is out, so let's fucking go.
Right.
You know. And then he's like, I gotta change. And I'm like, no, you don't. You're in fucking Star Wars pajamas. We're going to see Star Wars. Like, let's just go. Like, don't think about it. You know what I mean?
Just be about it.
Yeah. And he's like, okay.
Teenage girl Luke.
Yeah, I know. So we go, and the longer the movie goes on, I think his fucking Dayquil wore off.
Yeah.
Because then he's sitting beside me, just like, just being gross.
The funny thing is, for how long that movie is, it's
my God.
it's literally almost the entire like the time
Like a
between
cycle of the
doses.
Dayquil?
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like almost the entire duration. So he was
It probably wore off like an hour in.
yeah, he was probably just suffering.
He had an hour and some change where he was just hating life. So finally the movie ends. Where he got like super mad was that little end scene, which I don't think adds anything to the movie, where they're just like, you know, the little kids are playing on whatever planet that was, and then the little kid watches that ship go into light speed and fly away. I didn't think it added anything to the movie. I don't know, maybe it's just there's hope for the galaxy yet, or some shit. I don't know. To me, it was just, I don't know. I didn't think it was necessary.
Right.
Because I don't think, that planet's not relevant in Rise of Skywalker.
I don't think it's the planet. I think it's the kid himself.
The
You're
kid?
talking about the little blonde kid?
Yeah.
So he was force sensitive.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know if you caught it. It was kind of like a real quick thing that he did. Like, he was, like, going out there to, like, sweep or whatever and, like, stall area. And, like, he was, like, and, like, got the broom, like, off the wall with his hand, like, from a distance. Like, he used the force to pull the broom to him. So it was just kind of, like, signal. It was kind of was like, this is the new...
But he doesn't pop back up.
Yeah, but it's, like, that's, like... I guess to me it was like them saying like, hey, this is like the rise of the next generation. Because like, yeah, that was his only, like, he was in there for like maybe 5 minutes altogether, the entire movie. And then it was like that little bit that he had where he was just like, use the force real quick. I was like, oh, okay, so now they're saying like there's still force sensitive people out there.
Okay.
Because the movie was called The Last Jedi, but it was like, the next generation is just not been discovered yet.
Sure. Well, anyhow, he got really mad at that because he was like, I want to leave. And then we're walking out, and he's just bitching. He's like, see, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? I don't care about that stupid little fucking kid. And then we're walking out, and it's cold, and teenagers, they're only leave the house in a hoodie no matter what temperature it is. So we're walking out of the parking lot, and it snowed, and like was still snowing, and we're walking to the car, and he goes, "You fucking stupid! I look fucking dumb. We look fucking stupid, Tyler. We look fucking goddamn stupid, Tyler. I'm fucking cold. I'm fucking sick. I'm fucking stupid." Alright, man, sorry.
He was so mad at everything that Dayquil failed him big time.
Yeah. So that was that story. Remember the preview that made it look like they tried to make it look like Rey was going to be evil?
Yeah.
It was like all the I went and rewatched that preview too, and they do the thing where it's like heavy on Kylo being in the frame, like, because I just need somebody to show me my place and all this, and then like there's the kind of dark side music ish, and he's holding out his hand, and it's like the long shot of just his hand. I was like, well, that's cute. You're gonna make it seem like the main character is gonna be evil.
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I said this in the last one too, where it was like in The Force Awakens, I totally thought that movie was gonna be focused around Finn. Like, I thought he was gonna be the one that was like
the Jedi.
Yeah, because it just I don't know. I felt like she was gonna be like the trusty sidekick. You know, the one that's like
the Han to Finn's
yeah,
Luke.
like full of motivation. Like, yo, we gotta like do this, that, and the other. And then he's just kind of like, look, I just kind of discovered this. You know, like kind of like how episode 4 was back in the day, where it was like one of them was just like, listen, man, this is new to me. Like, I can move things with my mind.
Yeah.
And then the other one's just like, well, listen, we're not getting captured by these guys. Okay, we're gonna fight our way out of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I was saying we really mirroring the old trilogy again. Kind of a combo of 5 and 6. Evacuating a base to start the movie. That's 5. Jedi training going on while Resistance facing other problems. It's also 5. Jedi training, leaving early to confront the Emperor of sorts. Which, again, kind of mirroring 5. Confronting the Emperor, Snoke, him showing her side's being beaten and that she can do nothing. That's kind of 6. Mirroring 5, there's that, the dark presence on that island, where there was that kind of dark presence on Dagobah. In 5. So, I mean, just, more or less, just kind of... Yeah, was it homage or was it just kind of not being original and just kind of taking, we could do this and this? Or, I mean, I don't know.
I feel like they just kind of went, like, copy-paste, but, like, just went back and just kind of, like, did a little bit of a revision, like, added some things, took out some things,
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's like, you still got, like, the main force-wielding person. You got their trusty sidekicks, like, so that'd be, like, Finn and Poe. Like, that'd be, like, Chewie and Han for Luke. Like, the Millennium Falcon's still there. Leia's still there.
Yeah.
The situation's still similar. Like, they're still fighting against, like, this oppressing force with, like, overwhelming odds of losing. Like,
Rey's like a Luke and Leia.
yeah.
If you think about it, because like she's the woman and the man.
Yeah.
There's just no sibling there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're both force sensitive or whatever. And then Leia and her like surviving space thing, that was
interesting.
Interesting.
Because watching that for the first time, I was like, did they just really like kill her like that? But then it was like she kind of had that. I was like, wait a second, what is that?
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that like she was even trained in how to use the Force. But I do remember Luke saying she would learn how to use it in time.
Yeah.
I just never thought that she would use it to that extent. More or less, it was just like, to me, I was just like, maybe she just uses it as far as like a like feeling that somebody's alive or whatever.
Yeah. True. Yeah, alright, let's see. I like the opening a lot. General hugs. Urgent message about his mother.
Yeah, that
Poe
prank.
fucking with him the whole time.
He's like, yeah, I'll hold. I was like, yo. I was like, this man.
Yep, I'm here. General hugs.
He's such a fucking troll, man. That was pretty good.
I'll certainly... Yeah, Leia tells 3PO to wipe the nervous expression on his face. I will certainly try. Bomber ships all kind of looked like giant versions of Boba Fett's ships / Kylo Ren's lightsaber. Just that.
Mm. Yeah.
Like the stick with the...
Yeah.
Like the T-shaped deal.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It is interesting though. I never thought about Boba Fett's ship. Like, similar kind of design. But then you mentioned it, I'm like, huh. Yeah. I guess we should say Jango Fett, because Jango had it first.
Yeah.
OG.
But I mean, come on, who's cooler?
Well, Jango wasn't shit. Well, I won't say he wasn't shit, because he was kind of smooth with that pistol. He just... fought the wrong brother. that was just kind of how that went.
Yeah.
I mean, Mace Windu is like one of the dopest fucking Jedi.
Yeah. Poe kind of fucks up and gets the majority of his resistance fellow fighters killed. So that's a problem. I said old crotchety Luke is fun. How do we feel about Luke and his response to what went wrong? Feel like these Jedi are too damn fragile. All of them. Maybe if Luke sticks around, he could take this Snoke guy on. Let's talk about Snoke Leia talks about Snoke like he was always around. Luke's familiar enough with him that he knows who he is, and that Leia blames Snoke. But for Leia to blame Snoke, I feel like Snoke had to be around Kylo a good bit. Was Snoke some like creepy dude that worked for the Jedi Temple and they wanted to fire him but couldn't because of a union thing? And then eventually he just like makes him come to the dark side. Like,
now, didn't you say you looked up more about like where he came from? I guess.
Yeah, I think the link makes more sense once we get into Skywalker and we figure out that like Palpatine's still around.
Because Snoke looks a little weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's because he's like artificial.
Yeah, I was about to say he looks like a fucking experiment.
If I remember right. I can open my Chrome here real quick because I saved it in my email to myself.
I felt like didn't you send it to me too?
I may have.
Oh man, searching for links in text messages is a little difficult.
Oh, oops, that's my tire claim thing. No subject probably. No, it would have been a Star Wars subject. Yeah, Star Wars links. The one that says Star Wars links, huh? Who knew?
Who would have guessed?
12 Snoke facts you might not know. Yada yada. Snoke was a strand cast created by Palpatine. Emperor Palpatine created Snoke to be his proxy through which he could regain his power. Although Snoke was bioengineered in a lab on Exegol, he was a strand cast, not a clone. This bit of Star Wars jargon means Snoke isn't an exact copy of anyone, but isn't natural born either. We've heard the term strand cast before. In The Mandalorian, Quill speculates that Grogu might be a strand cast, speculation which turned out to be wrong when Ahsoka revealed Grogu grew up in the Jedi Temple. Palpatine's ultimate plan was to use Snoke as his voice to whisper in Kylo Ren's ear. It was one of several ways he was working behind the scenes all along to build the First Order itself, just a shell for the new Empire being built on Exegol. With his own clone body decrepit, but his spirit still strong in the Force, Palpatine could possess other people, but was looking for a permanent new vessel. Snoke wasn't aware of his own history. Hugh Hefner and Snoke's injuries informed how... Okay, that's weird.
Strange.
His look was based on classic horror movies. Snoke is not a Sith Lord. Let's read about that one. You may have noticed that Snoke does not have the Darth title like the Dark Lords of the Sith do. He was never given one because he isn't technically a Sith Lord, but the fact that he's a bioengineered being created by Palpatine explains why his training of Kylo Ren followed the Sith mold so closely, since all along Palpatine was trying to manipulate Ren. During the time of The Force Awakens, many fans theorized that the next film would reveal Snoke to be Darth Plagueis, the Sith... Why did that move? Plagueis, the Sith Master who taught Palpatine the ways of the dark side. Plagueis was interested in extending one's lifespan through the use of the dark side, so an old man with mysterious origins could very well have been him. This theory didn't pan out. I do kind of want to know just the Snoke doesn't know his own history. Unlike Palpatine's strand cast son, Snoke didn't know he was created in a lab by the Sith Lord, nor that he was being manipulated to rebuild the Emperor's forces. In fact, despite being created sometime after the Battle of Endor, he believed to have lived through the rise and fall of the Empire. All of this is revealed in a novelization of The Force Awakens, and a twist that might actually have been a result of The Rise of Skywalker not having been written or planned out yet. But his status as a Sith sleeper agent fits with Palpatine's plan too, Snoke truly believing that he himself was a Dark Force user who had lived through the Galactic Civil War likely prevented Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, from sensing the deception throughout his time as Snoke's apprentice. Palpatine needed Snoke to believe the lies he told Kylo Ren so that he could more easily manipulate the fallen Skywalker. Okay.
Interesting.
Ryan Johnson felt Snoke's presence distracted from Rey and Kylo Ren's stories. Snoke chose Ben Solo because of his Skywalker blood. Yeah, no shit. Snoke trained at least one of their apprentice before Kylo Ren. According to the Force Awakens visual dictionary, Snoke... The letters are small and they're far away. Canonically trained someone else before Ben, but little is known about this mystery apprentice. We don't know the person's name, when this took place, or how it connects to Palpatine's overarching plans. The existence of this apprentice is implied by Snoke's description of Kylo Ren as his most gifted apprentice, suggesting that... Okay. I don't want a technicality, huh? Snoke had at least one earlier run-in with Luke. The facial scarring and collapsed cheek Circus talked about might have been created by Luke Skywalker. In the rise of Kylo Ren, Ben Solo alludes to what Master Luke did to you, but Snoke is more interested in Ben's conflict with Luke. What happened between Snoke and Luke is still unknown. It's possible that whatever confrontation led to Snoke's scars was also the first time Ben met Snoke. Snoke played a key role in the Empire's... Really? It says Snoke played a key role in the Empire's transformation of the First Order. You don't say.
That's an understatement.
Snoke's flagship, the Supremacy, is the only ship of its kind. Snoke's flagship was ripped in half by the Holdo maneuver. Yes, okay, obviously. Snoke's ring contains a relic from Darth Vader's castle.
He had a castle? My man had a whole castle.
Probably the spot on the place where the fight happens, the lava. I know the name of it. I can't think of it.
The Mustafar?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
In Rogue One, when General goes to...
I was thinking of the Obi-Wan series.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's there too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's there at the Obi-Wan series. Okay, so that makes sense.
Let's see what the relic is. Collector Sith relic, traveling around the galaxy in search of knowledge, selling his Force philosophy, collecting things for your creative band. Unclear how much of the Sith pilgrimage really happened versus the memories implanted by Palpatine, but it does appear that Snoke did actually recover the lost concept of a Force dyad, which he used to bring Rey and Kylo together. What? He also discovered many dark side artifacts. One detail easy to overlook: The Last Jedi is Snoke's ring. The gaudy gold ring contains a hunk of black crystal. The Last Jedi visual dictionary defines this as obsidian from the catacombs beneath Darth Vader's fortress on Mustafar. The ring also features gold etched with glyph of the Dwartil.
Dwarty? Did I say Dwarty?
Oh, it looked like an elf from here.
No, yeah,
Again, we're far away. In both canon and legends, Dwarty is a planet which is home to several schools of philosophers. Okay. And the other link is... is everything George Lucas said about his theoretical Star Wars sequel trilogy. Maybe this is a Last Jedi link. Because that's just Lucas's thought. We can conclude it this way. Yeah. We can conclude it. We can conclude Last Jedi that way, because we can conclude the trilogy and the whole Star Wars series like that. I mean, we can go back still and do Mandalorian and Boba Fett and all that if we want to do it. Just for now, wrap up the series, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And that's how we'll do that. We'll save that article for next time. Because I think people probably get tired of hearing us just read.
Unfortunately, the fact that we read good is... No.
Yeah.
But, real quick, what we were saying about, like, Palpatine being alive.
Yeah.
There was, like, other Sith Lords, like, some really, like, we think, like, Vader was, like, bad as fuck, right? Or we're just like, yeah, he was strong as shit, right?
Uh-huh.
There's dudes that made him look, like, weak. Like, there was dudes that, like, fed on, like, whole planets to, like, power themselves with the Force. There's a dude that held his body together with the Force. So, like, he technically could not like die because he was just using the Force to keep himself alive, which is insane. It sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
Like holding your body parts to your body, like because you've been alive for like 200 years. It just sounds exhausting.
Can't ever unclench this fist.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like you gotta stay like that constant mindset all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure after like 100 years, you'd have it down pat.
Sure.
So, but it just sounds exhausting, man.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, there's some pretty bad motherfuckers out there.
Yeah, so my paragraph had a couple points to hit on. So, what the fuck with Luke? Like, just stick around and
Why is he so spiteful?
fight this Snoke guy. Well, not spiteful. He's just, like, he's doing the same thing Obi-Wan did. That's why I said these Jedi are so fucking fragile.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like
Obi-Wan, one
happens.
apprentice goes wrong, and I gotta fucking hide on fucking planet and watch this 10-year-old. Like, all right, man.
Yeah. One thing fails, and then all of a
Yoda,
sudden they're like,
Yoda loses to the Emperor, and he's just like, all right, Obi, you go do your thing. I'm gonna
yeah.
go to Dagobah.
He's like, I will see you when we both die.
Yeah,
That was kind of it.
that's literally it.
I hate how they do that.
They just gave up. I still have a big problem with the end of 3.
Yeah,
That's why 3 is not my favorite. Is just because
that's fair.
what the fuck?
Everybody just gave up.
We just
a little
sat
bit
down.
easily.
You know, I mean, I understand if, like, I don't know, it wasn't hopeless.
For Obi-Wan to go into hiding, I kind of understand because, like, Anakin, like, he was so full of rage. Like, I mean, I get that. But
All right,
like,
well, if Obi-Wan finishes the fucking job,
okay, yeah, he should have just.
Oh,
I mean,
Mustafar.
he could have just like rolled him into the down the hill.
Yeah.
Like, just roll him down the hill with your foot. You technically didn't kill him. The lava killed him. Okay,
oh damn,
you just happened to roll him down the hill, and there was a river of lava behind it.
yeah, and then, like, okay, so if Obi-Wan finishes the job, but not only that, Darth Vader still needs rebuilt. So if Yoda's like, "Hey Obi-Wan, get up, come on, let's get over to Coruscant, let's take this Emperor out." You know, there's still enough good people around, not Jedis per se, but people that if you cut the head off the snake, then all these people are gonna be like, so I guess you tell me what to do now.
Right? Yeah, they definitely could have fucking put a dent in his plans by taking out some like key people.
Or cutting his head off.
That's
They'd probably put a dent in his plans.
That's true. That's true. I also hate how they went and lived like so far away from like everything, like the main part of the galaxy that this takes place in. Because it was like Coruscant, like the whole planet is just one big ass city, right? So there's multiple like levels to it, and it's like even in like the show, like the Clone Wars, there had been people that had like disappeared, and, like went basically underground, where they went to like the inner planet or inner part of the planet or whatever, lower level, and they could like there was no way to like easily find this person. So I was like, why didn't you guys just like hide out there and like kind of set up plans, like take care of the fucking job?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
just gave up. I didn't like it.
That's what I would have done.
So anyway, these Jedi are too fragile. That's
Soft,
basically what I'm saying. They're very soft.
like tissue paper.
But like I was saying, maybe Luke sticks around, takes this Snoke guy on. Or they can get... I mean, maybe that was a Union thing, too. It's like, you can't cut his head off. He's part of the Union. It's like, okay. Let him keep sweeping my floors,
That would have been kind of an awkward fight, though. Snoke, I feel like, is like 12 feet tall. He just looks really lanky in that chair that he was
It's
in.
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, but Luke wasn't, like, really that... I didn't think he was personally that great of, like, a swordsman.
It's because the movies were made from, like, 77 to
Yeah.
80 whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure if they choreographed it today, it'd be bad as fuck.
Nonetheless, I still got mad respect for Mark Hamill, though.
Yeah. Well, and, I mean, he does the whole Force thing, and I have some problems with it that we'll talk about later, but there's the whole Force thing where he's on a complete other planet.
Oh, yeah.
And he shows up and
Makes Kylo so
makes
mad.
Kylo
I love that scene
look
so
like a
much.
fool.
We could talk about that scene.
Yeah,
in
we'll
detail
get to it,
soon.
yeah. For someone that's supposed to be so wise, he's very short-sighted and failing once and never trying again. As you might be able to tell, I did not like the entire basis of the plot of these first two movies being that they couldn't find Luke because he ran away. But perhaps part of the story is the fact that he's still a human. He's still human. It's a human story, and people are inherently flawed. And that's why, people can get behind Star Wars is because all these things,
It's not just win.
Part of that article
win all the time.
is that George Lucas didn't like these new movies because he was saying that the whole thing with Star Wars is it's essentially a soap opera, and then all this fighting happens, as just a repercussion of all this soap opera stuff. It's literally like what he says in there, and we'll go into more detail on that in Last Jedi. But yeah, so I think that's why people can relate to Star Wars. Is, like Luke fails, and then, sometimes people fail and they just give up and they go, oh, damn. But again, I'm just like, it's Luke fucking Skywalker,
Yeah.
Like, he convinced his dad he wasn't evil anymore.
Yeah, he didn't give up on that, and his dad cut his fucking hand off.
Yeah. And then he returned the favor.
Could you imagine your dad cutting your hand off and then be like, yeah, you're right, I guess I am still good at heart. Like, it's just like that's not at all how I would have played that shit.
Well, when your son returns the favor, you just go like, word.
I guess we're even.
All right. I do like what you're saying, actually.
I hear what you're saying. I can hear better with my hand.
I can hear. They say when you lose one of your senses, the others get stronger. Yeah. Yeah, same thing with limbs, One of my appendages is gone, and now my hearing works better.
I can hear way better now with this nub.
I just feel like Luke wouldn't have just went away forever. At least the kind of guy he was in the
other ones.
In the original trilogy, like maybe he takes a couple weeks and just kind of like goes like, damn.
Or even like a couple months where he just kind of like goes back and kind of like looks at his plan, see what failed, and like recalibrate and come like create a new plan.
Yeah. Well, because he says the whole thing in the beginning of this movie to Rey, where he goes, "What, you think I'm just gonna show up with a laser sword and I'm gonna, just fight down the whole First Order, run down the whole First Order or some shit like that?" He says something to that effect.
She's basically just like, yeah.
He's right. But at the same time, there's a whole fucking First Order fleet at the ready. And, Kylo Ren's got such an ego. Mm-hmm. He's like, all of you stay in there. Well, first he just shoots the whole fleet just fires at him. Mm-hmm. Everything you got at that man.
Oh, yeah.
And then Luke does the whole, like, brush his shoulder off. Excuse me. And then, he fucking... so then Kylo goes, stay here. Goes out, fights him. It's the pride thing of the evil villain, the crazy evil villain that's got to, take this one thing on alone, unless it has to do with moving the plot along, in which case he just goes like, fucking kill him, and then he gets killed. Plot. And, so I feel like if Luke would have kept trying to take on Kylo or take on Snoke, he eventually would have got to fight those guys. And all these First Order people were going to go, oh, what do I have to do? I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here complaining about the plot, but...
You know what would kind of been cool, though? Or what would be
it's
cool?
It's Luke Skywalker, man. Like, I have hard feelings about Luke Skywalker.
The expectation behind his name is definitely...
And I also understand it might have been written a certain way because Mark Hamill's old.
That is true. They're in their, what, 60s?
Something, yeah.
Late 60s at this point?
I mean, you gotta think he was a fucking 20-something kid in 77, so...
Yeah.
Anyway. We'll stop bitching about Luke Skywalker, but just know that I'm not happy. Because when I was...
never guessed.
You would have never guessed.
I would have never guessed.
I would have never guessed you weren't happy about it.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
I kind of would have liked to seen a movie or a show of the between time with Luke, what he was doing other than training the next Darth Vader. He shows up in The Mandalorian, so he was still doing Jedi shit to an extent. Will we ever see the grown-up version of Grogu? Because in The Mandalorian's set right after, not directly after 6, but in that after period of 6.
Yeah, within like a few years or so.
Right. And so I want to see Luke. Does Luke train Grogu? Is he in that temple? Is Grogu one of the Jedi that are slaughtered in that whole deal where Ben or Kylo, what do you want to call him in this? When Kylo Ren, I guess he's Ben Solo at that time when he leaves the temple, right?
Right.
Burns it down and kills, and then takes some with him. So I don't know. It seems like that whole Mandalorian show, or at least the first season of it, or first and second.
First.
Was it just the first season? No, it was both seasons with the Grogu, right? Or was it the end of the first season, Grogu? It's been a minute now.
The second season, I think he was not in it as much. I think it went mostly back to Mando, and I think Boba was in it.
Right.
But I do remember Boba going with Luke to train. And Mando, shows up while he's being trained and leaves that little, chain link, shirt thing for him. Because Grogu does come back.
I didn't finish Boba Fett. It was one of those
fucking damn it. I'm over here just
Well, Boba was one of the ones where I watched the first two, and then the way Disney Plus releases them, I just kind of forgot that they were coming out. Yeah. And so I just never retraced my steps.
Okay, so I'll just stop talking.
And then Obi-Wan came out, and I was like, well, this is cool.
Oh, yeah.
And I still didn't do Boba Fett. I mean, if we're honest, it wasn't 100% interesting in the beginning, but it was still fun, and I liked seeing Boba Fett getting out of the stomach of the
Sarlacc.
Yeah. So
I liked Boba Fett though because it kind of gave you a little bit of an idea of what he was doing.
No, I want to go back and watch it. I'm going to.
It's definitely worth going back and watching it. Now that
so Luke's training him, and I want to see the school. I want to see that between time. That's worth a movie or series. Of the between time, and I guess you got to get somebody that kind of looks like young Mark Hamill to do it. You can't just have fucking old ass Mark Hamill come in and be like, hey. But that is one thing. I mean, they CGI'd the Luke that came and whooped everybody's ass in Mandalorian. So
now they definitely made him seem like a good ass swordsman though in that scene where he came in.
Well, I mean, you got to think he's just discovered himself as far as Jedi powers go. He's just maturing with it. And
it's not like he was able to go to the Jedi Temple where he had all these masters that were good at different things that he could learn different things from and train him. He kind of had to do it on his own in a sense after Yoda died. I mean, now granted, if he's if he was strong enough with the Force, he could probably still talk to Obi-Wan or Yoda or Qui-Gon or whatever, and they could kind of still teach him from the afterlife, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I figured he'd be naturally good at sword fighting though, being a Skywalker. That seems to be the thing that they're kind of hinting towards.
Yeah. The Skywalker blood is the midichlorians or whatever.
The most potent shit in the galaxy.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to see a grown-up version of Grogu, or maybe we're saying he just got slaughtered in the Jedi Temple. But
hopefully not. Little Grogu was he was still so full of life.
Maybe he was a dick by then, he's probably a teenager and he's
just pranking everybody.
He's pranking everybody, he's out trying to finger people, he's just being a real rascal, and maybe he like kept like giving Ben wet willies, and when Ben made the transformation of Kylo Ren, he was like, "Your little head is gone."
Yeah, he was like, "You're the first person."
It's interesting that this is the first time fuel is some kind of issue in one of these plots.
Yeah. Which is...
We've never really talked about fuel. Like, we've talked about... it's been mentioned, like, in passing. Oh, get here, work on the ship, refuel,
yeah.
Yada yada.
But they never talk about being low.
They've never been like, oh god, we're almost out of fuel.
Yeah.
How many times do you think Han was rolling around in the Falcon with
on
fuel
fumes
light on?
and just faith?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. It is surprising because Star Wars has been out now since, the 70s, and it's like that's the first time it's ever been mentioned. But it's like they still mentioned it faster than the Fast and Furious movies have.
Yep.
Like, that's the craziest
Still
thing.
not a factor.
Still not a fucking factor. But in Star Wars...
Working on what, number
10.
10 now? Still not a factor. I haven't watched anything past 7.
I stopped once we saw that, because I was like, this is just getting...
Why isn't it a problem with the First Order? I know they're bigger ships, but they're burning fuel too. And how long have they been out? I mean, Snoke's station is just one big floating battle station rolling around.
Yeah.
All the time. So, I don't know.
Maybe with, like...
Maybe it
the
runs
First
on
Orders?
Dark Force energy.
That could be a thing.
Anyway.
What if the First Order's like ships, because you know how they got like control over everything, since they got like newer shit, maybe it's just better. I would say more fuel
Maybe
efficient.
it runs on Stardust.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Prius, but a
It's
spaceship.
just a vacuum outside sucking up Stardust.
just all the time. Like a billion little Hoovers inside of the fucking big ass engines on the back. Yeah.
There's a guy that has to. You got to go out and clean out the Stardust filter. Fuck. And then you just hear like this grinding noise, like Gary got sucked in.
It's like
jeez.
somebody ran over a penny.
Get a mop and go down there.
Get a mop.
You just roll down there. It's like Nightmare on Elm Street, and the kid gets sucked into the bed,
Yeah,
and all the blood comes out. You're like, oh no, poor Gary.
It's like, oh my god, it's in my mouth.
It's in my mouth. I can taste it. I can taste it. I like the. This is an interaction between Luke and Rey that I like. Where are you from? Nowhere. No one's from nowhere. Jakku. Alright, that is pretty much nowhere. And then, a little later, I can't teach you. Why not? I've seen your daily routine. You're not busy. And then, not too long after, or might have been a little before, Leia gives that whole speech to Poe about, everything can't be solved by jumping in an X-Wing and blowing stuff up. And then shit starts going down, and he goes, permission to jump in an X-Wing and blow stuff up?
Silly.
And then R2, again, another case for, like we need R2 subtitles. R2 sees Luke again, and they're talking, he's all like,
yeah, cool beeps.
And he's like, hey, Sacred Island, watch the language.
I didn't know droids could cuss.
Right. Alright, so we're at this point where, Rey's discovering the Force, and she sees that little dark presence on the island. And it looks all dark and gross and
cold.
I just thought it'd be funny if, what if Rey went down in the hole and it had nothing to do with the Force or anything? There's just, a bunch of people down there with Minnesota accents, and they're like, oh, hey there! This is where we shuck the seaweed. Yeah, actually, we're on hiring right now. Sorry, yeah, but are you okay? Yeah, it's a little slippery up there. That's where all the seaweed shucks go there, and naturally they go bad. It's gross. It smells. It's slippery. I did look it up. Seaweed don't have shucks, but it's just funny to say shuck the seaweed. There's a bunch of people from Minnesota.
It sounds like something out of
When I found out that seaweeds don't have shucks, you know what I said?
You didn't give a fuck.
Ah, shucks.
Oh, come on. It sounded like something straight out of like Always Sunny though. Like that whole that whole scene just sounds like some shit out of Straight Out Sunny or Always Sunny. I was like, yo.
Yeah.
Oh shucks, that's it. We're done.
Quit.
I hate it here.
Yoda's a ghost. I don't think he should have been able to hit Luke in the head like that. In the same sense, why was Luke able to carry dice with him in a lightsaber that Rey already had taken with her? That was split in half, not but a scene before. And why is the lightsaber blue? Because it should have been green if it was Luke's saber.
Mm-hmm.
And why was he able to kiss Leia on the head? Why did Leia leave the dice behind? How was he able to touch lightsabers with Kylo?
All with the Force, baby.
I know, but like, how do you have... You're supposed to be there as basically a ghost, and you got dice with you? And then why did Leia leave him on the floor when she left?
For, what's his name? Kylo.
For Kylo?
Yeah. To find him.
Kylo's gonna come and be like, oh,
basically
man,
like
my dad's
like a
dice.
spit in his face, like,
My
hey.
daddy's dice!
Yeah.
Daddy!
It's like, hey, you just got played by your uncle.
Daddy was there. I just left him while we were at
the
fair.
bottom of
a pit on a planet that was incinerated.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's Kylo.
He's definitely the bitchiest Sith we've ever had. He does fit in with the Jedi because he's very fragile.
As soon as you said that, I just thought of the robot chicken thing. What are you doing? He's crying.
Hey, he's crying. He's crying.
He said, tell everybody what a whitey little bitch you are because of Padamame or whatever the hell her name was.
Yeah. You've been flying around for 3 weeks looking for a signal? You must smell like old bacon wrapped in leather. Ugh. Just take it out alone? I said, but where are we going to get a loan? I suppose you got a fucking ATM on that light bright on your chest?
Oh, man. We got to do that one. We got to do that.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Okay, good.
We'll finish up Star Wars and we'll do the robot chickens.
Robot chickens.
Again, we need Chewie subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
If you see Finn before I do, tell him. Yeah, perfect. Tell him that.
Tell him what? I don't speak Wookiee.
Leia says about Haldo. She was more interested in protecting the light than she was seeming like a hero. Okay, that's great and all, but maybe if we communicated the plan and how the general approves of the plan, maybe he wouldn't have gone off and had a little side plan going or have overtaken the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought.
Transparency.
That was the thing we were talking about. Jason and I, we did a movie rules pod, and you know, Jason's thing was like, he's like, I'm gonna fuck it up, I know, but and like
it's hard.
It's funny.
It's hard to say exactly what he said because.
Well, it's funny because he's watching it. You know, at one point or another, he's watching this and editing it, so it's funny because I'm like, well, I'm gonna fuck this up, and he's sitting there going, yeah, you are gonna fuck this up.
I was just talking to him about that the other day because I was like, hey, I was definitely throwing shade at you one time when I was doing like hella shots at Jack with Dakota.
Sure.
And he was like, honestly, he's like, I watched that shit on like 6 times speed, so you guys sound like the chipmunks. So I was like, oh, he's like, I don't even catch half the things you say. He's like, I'm just flagging things and then going back, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So.
But he says, you know, so many times there's like, if you know, people would just stop and have like a 5-minute conversation, we could pretty much avoid all this other running around and doing things. But anyway, these Emperor Dark Lord types should really get off their asses once in a while and do some work themselves instead of just yelling at everyone else for failing all the time.
I'm surprised these Sith Lords aren't like 500 pounds because they don't do anything.
Yeah.
You know? At least Anakin was like walking around, still kind of going on like ships and killing people and shit.
Well, if you got, I mean, you got to think Anakin was
mostly robot. So
yeah,
it's probably built into his circuitry to like keep his metabolism kind of high.
I was gonna say that, Darth Vader was. So if you think, Darth Maul is essentially Vader before Vader, right? So the Emperor always sits around just like,
go do this, go do that.
It's my Emperor impression.
Yeah.
Anyway, he sits around and just says, yes, as you said, go do this, go do that. So Darth Maul goes, does this, does that. Darth Maul gets cut in half. And for whatever reason, he's some sort of presence in Rogue One that we never go into again. We never talk about how he's relevant there. And Darth Vader's still the Sith Lord. And then Darth Vader's going around doing this shit. And now Snoke is taking the place of Emperor, even though the Emperor is still around. Emperor.
He's like backfilling. That's like the assistant manager becoming the manager after the manager quits.
Assistant to the Reacher manager.
Yeah.
So then there's Snoke, and then, Kylo is essentially the Vader type of just, I go, I do things.
I wouldn't even
put
him on that level, because he's just like, ass patch, like.
He definitely fits the fragile. Fuck me! Huh. Fragile Jedi.
I'm fucking exhausted. Like, I woke up at like 3:45 today. I had to be at work at 5, so I'm like ready for a nap. But yeah, he's so delicate. His ego is so delicate. Like, it does not take much. Like when he destroyed his helmet.
Yeah.
I was like, bro.
Well, Snoke called his helmet stupid.
Yeah.
He was like,
take that dumbass off.
He's like in the elevator. He said, I was stupid. He's stupid, fucking.
He lashes out like a little child. Like,
yeah.
It's so fucking funny.
He said my helmet was stupid. Can we discuss the fact that the First Order assault was probably about a 3-minute drive away from the assault of Resistance fighters driving toward it, and they're both going toward each other at a semi-normal speed, and that scene was forever long, and they were still on a long approach at the end with Finn, going towards the cannon, and then Poe is instantly back in the trench where the other soldiers are, and it didn't make a lot of sense. Also, why was Rose a hero?
How does she catch up?
Why wasn't Rose a hero and either throw herself into the cannon or let Finn be the hero? Now the doors are open and you're both sitting ducks in the middle of a war zone. Branching off of that, the First Order has impeccable aim to only hit non-important side characters.
Which, in case you didn't know, is you, Rose. I want to know how she caught up to him, first of all.
Okay, well, first of all, the fucking... They're like maybe a mile away from each other because they're in view.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a mile and a half, and they're, you'd think they'd meet pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And, by the time Finn is, I'm doing this, flying towards it, he's still like,
maybe,
I don't know, maybe a good 500 feet away.
Maybe they're little, like, skid things that they were on.
Maybe they're only going 10.
Maybe they were going like 25 miles an hour, but they were just really shittily made. Like Poe's foot went through the fucking bottom.
True.
Like they were just barely hanging on, so it's like it was just bumpy as shit. It made it seem like they were going fast.
The First Order's only going as fast as those AT-ATs walk.
Yeah, and that's just incredibly slow.
And then they're over here going 5, like, man, is this fight ever going to happen?
Yeah, they're like, they're like, you guys can just take your lunch now, and we'll let you know if we get there, or if they get to us.
So there's that, and then, but yeah, so then the crash happens, but then Poe is like pretty quickly back in the trench with the other soldiers.
Yeah,
and then it takes Finn and Rose forever to get back in the place.
Yeah.
But I argue, why would you have done what Rose did? I feel like if you're Rose, you either got to put yourself in that can, you got to take the L, so that the rest of the team can get the W.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's like 20 fucking Resistance fighters on the Millennium Falcon at the end of that. The end of that movie.
Somebody else could have taken that. Yeah.
But
Who's to say that fucking
so
running
either let
into it,
Finn
though,
do it, because the cannon fires and breaks open the door.
Yeah.
So either let Finn go in there, or if you don't want Finn to die, you go in there.
Yeah.
But now neither of you did anything.
Well, their crash was intense, though. She hit him
Like,
hard.
you both probably should have died.
Like,
in that
realistically,
crash.
like, they both should have fucking died. Because I was like, she came out of nowhere. I was like, God damn. Like, but I also don't know if running into the fucking mini Death Star cannon thing was actually going to, like, destroy it or not.
I don't know. Finn said it was, and he's pretty familiar with...
That is true.
Although he did say, I don't know how to turn it off. We'll use the Force in The Force Awakens, so...
That's not
how it works.
Oh, God, bless his heart. He a little confused, but he got spirit. That's probably what Han told everybody.
Again, impeccable aim to only hit non-important side characters.
They got bullseyes on him, man.
No other Resistance members respond. It's kind of like when you want to do something with some friends, like go eat or something. And then no one answers you and you remember you have no friends. It's a very easily memeable scene in a movie. I'd be surprised if you couldn't find that somewhere where just like you want to go out to eat and then Leia's sitting there going, the spark is out.
Yeah. I do leave text messages hanging a lot.
Yeah.
It's not intentional.
Feels pretty intentional.
It's not. The only people I intentionally don't answer are my family
Named
members.
Dakota and Tyler.
My family members. I respond to you guys. It might be like 2 days because I try to keep my watch clear so I can pay attention to it in case Tiff calls me.
Uh-huh.
And like I'll just like clear my messages and notifications and stuff, and I'll forget that I've cleared them. So then I don't realize it, and then I go back and I'll be like texting her when I'm at work or something. And I'll be like, I'll see the little one next to like our group chat, and I'll be like, "What the fuck?" I'll be like, "Oh shit!" Like, and then I'll be like, I'll go back and I'll respond 2 days later.
Oh, I thought it'd be a good meme though.
It is. We should
You
definitely
try to talk to people and it's just like the picture of Leia. The spark is out.
definitely use it.
Like when Kylo throws Hux aside.
His yell.
They're having a lightsaber. Kylo and Luke were having a lightsaber fight like 5 to 10 feet away from each other. Like, yeah, kept like passing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then all of a sudden, on Kylo's final approach, he has to run like 20 feet to him to take that swipe at him. Then he realizes Luke isn't there. Just, goofy.
Yeah, he definitely, when he got that pass through Luke's body, he was definitely like almost had like a look of relief in his face after he came to a stop, like from that slide or whatever.
Right.
And then to turn around and him still be standing there, he was probably like so pissed. So pissed. That probably that had to like destroy his whole world.
Yeah, this was the only Luke scene I really was like happy with Luke. The rest of the movie, I was pretty unhappy with just the whole Luke experience.
Yeah.
A
little disappointed until that scene. And then it was over like that.
Yeah, it was cool, They shoot at him and he brushes his shoulder off. He fights Kylo. Okay, again, how's he physically lightsaber fighting?
I just want to say it's the Force. Like, you know how like the midichlorians are like everywhere? They say maybe it's like he's just like, hey, convince Kylo to think that he's making contact.
Star Wars movie rule. The Force is subjective to plot.
Hey. Somehow they fucking made it work.
Dice lightsabers. Luke was smooth though, he dodged that lightsaber.
That shit was pretty fun to watch. I did think it was a little excessive. Kylo was just like, I want every fucking Walker we have to fire at that guy. Everything. And then he was like, more. And I was like, first of all, buddy, like, one shot would have been good. Like, normally. Like, I shit you not, one shot should have been fine. But, like, they shot the same spot for, like, what felt like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, there's nothing left of him. At some point, you wouldn't even be shooting a fucking corpse. It would just be, you'd be shooting holes in the ground of where his body once was and has been vaporized.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so excessive. And then to see him standing there, he was probably, that boy was hot. I know he had to be he had to be so fucking mentally heated.
That's why he throws Hux aside.
Oh yeah, but
Hux is like, you can't go down there. And then the other guy goes, right away, sir.
the fucking yell that he has though when he gets thrown is just it's fucking priceless.
Fuck that General Hux guy. when Snoke is dead. And he starts, like, Kylo starts giving orders, and then Hux is like, you can't command my army! And he starts choking him, and he's like...
Oh, man. He's like, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, one more time?
That poor dude, he got bullied, though, by Kylo and Snoke.
Yes. The Luke quote happens earlier, I just didn't mention it because it's more relevant right here, I thought. Kylo goes, I'll kill you, and then I'll have killed, the last Jedi, and, Luke says, amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong. He says it earlier with Rey. He's like, what is the Force? And she's like, oh, it makes things float, and, stuff. When he tickles her hand, and he's like, she's like, you feel it? She's like, oh, I feel it! Smacks it.
Oh, that shit was silly.
Okay, so the Rey Finn subplot. Rey looks over kind of jealous that Finn's paying attention to Rose now. She definitely was in some kind of interest with Kylo, though. Not sure, and I don't remember how it works out in the next one.
It's confusing.
Just remember the next one being a lot.
It is a lot.
And again, didn't like the last scene. Don't think it has anything to do with the next movie. I guess it's to signify hope. We talked about that. Yeah.
That is a very confusing love square.
And I don't remember what happens to Rose, and then don't Finn and Rey kiss in the next one, if I remember right. At some point. Well, we'll figure it out in the next one. I don't know.
I don't think he does. I don't think they do.
Okay.
It is kind of weird though, because it's like Finn was like head over heels for Rey.
Yeah.
And then for some reason
Rose is like, hey.
Yeah, Rose likes Finn, and then Rey's like for some reason connected to Kylo, but it seems like Kylo has a little bit of a crush on Finn, who's also crushing on Rose, who might be crushing on Rey.
And then don't forget that Finn kind of has a thing going with Chewie.
Yeah.
So that becomes a whole thing.
And then
kind of
Chewie,
becomes a love Pentagon.
Chewie's being chased by Maz, the little orange lady.
Yeah, so then it's kind of a love hexagon.
Hexagon. Very confusing.
Yeah.
We need to get a whiteboard. We need to get a whiteboard just...
We need whiteboards so we can draw ridiculous, obscene charts of just how things...
Yeah, like that fucking
there has to
hexagon.
be like all these goofy things.
It's not
like every
straight
movie
arrows,
we do,
it's like loops.
Every movie we do, we have to have some sort of Charlie thing going on from Always Sunny where there's just like lines and...
Ridiculous ass
yeah.
connections.
Alright, what'd you rate this movie?
I'd rate it a 6.5. I like it. I honestly just watch it because it's Star Wars, and if I'm just like in the mood for Star Wars, I'll watch it. But like, I still prefer the second set over this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd definitely be like second set, first set, and then this set.
Yeah.
In that order. But yeah, 6.5, 6.6.
Yeah. This isn't as bad as I remembered.
Hmm.
It was easy to watch again. Though it is long as hell.
That next one's gonna be so tough. For you.
Though this one is long, it was fun to watch, and I'm okay with it. I'm gonna go 7. Because it's solid.
Hmm.
It's a solid movie. I don't know. As far as chronological order, the first trilogy, I love episode 1. 2, yeah, it's kind of goofy.
It's important though.
It's important. The CGI's weird.
Yeah.
It's
better than the first. But
The
it's
first
still
one
kind of weird.
CGI's. Well, the first one looks better to me.
The first one was actually I think it was solid as fuck for the time, the year that it came out.
But then like Jason was talking about, like, you know, episode 2 might have been more CGI as opposed to practical effects. Because like even Yoda looked a little weirder in episode 2 as opposed to looking better in episode 1. I mean, he doesn't look as grimy as he does in, you know, the episode 5 and 6, where he's just this kind of like mangy, raggedy puppet. You gotta remember he's been on Dagobah for a number of years now.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, I mean, I like the original trilogy 4, 5, 6. I would probably rate that the same way. Like, I like 1, 2, 3, and then I probably like these 3. Yeah. Yeah. That pretty much covers it, I guess.
Can't wait to do 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I mean, hopefully.
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it doesn't come out till like... I mean, this one, if you're listening or viewing this one right now, it is October 12th.
Woo.
Star Wars Episode 9 doesn't come out till October 26th. We gotta get it done a little beforehand so Jason can do the video, though.
Well.
So, you know. If it's one day while you're on
leave should be fine. Well, his due date's in 2 days. That's when he's supposed to be due.
And then you're inducing by the 22nd if he doesn't come.
So we're gonna try and...
Because it is August 13th today while we're recording this. And Charles still isn't a father quite yet.
Not yet.
But he's going to be. I mean, I call him Daddy, but...
Dakota does too.
Alright, guys. Thanks for listening or viewing. Subscribe to Consecrate's YouTube channel. Follow us on the Twitter. Email us at consecrateshotline@yahoo.com, at consecrates1 on Twitter. Spotify, Apple, YouTube.
OnlyFans.
Not quite. Thanks for your...
Bye.
Goodbye. Thanks for your goodbye. Yeah.